I was dodging sandstorms halfway across the world when my phone buzzed. Yeah, right there in the middle of the chaos, one message. And suddenly, I wasn't thinking about combat zones anymore. I was thinking about my grandfather, Emery, and the land he poured his whole soul into. The message came from our neighbor, Dana, solid woman, quiet, accountant by trade, but her voice in that voice memo, it shook. The HOA back home had just served Grandpa Emery with an eviction notice because his fence was made out of old tractor parts. Yeah, that's what kicked it all off. This woman named Veronica Lyle, new HOA president, fresh out of some Florida foreclosure scandal, decided his fence didn't fit her vision for our rural neighborhood. Called it an eyesore. Said it ruined property values. You believe that a fence built from decades of farming history plows, wagon wheels. Even a rusted Harrow grandpa once said saved our harvest back in '97, but she didn't stop there. Oh no. She slapped him with $5,000 in fines, called him a hoarder, said his barn was agricultural clutter. Then she brought in private security fake cops in matching polo shirts to rip the whole thing down. Dana caught the whole thing on camera from her kitchen window, watching them tear apart Grandpa's fence while he just stood there. I swear, I've never felt rage like that. I got emergency leave. My commanding officer didn't even ask questions, just looked at me and said, "Go." By the time I landed back in the States, Veronica was already pushing some eminent domain nonsense, trying to force a quick sale to her buddy, a developer named Trent who apparently thought bulldozing legacy farms was the next big thing. Yeah, not on my watch. When I pulled up to the house, I didn't see despair. I saw defiance. Grandpa had rebuilt the fence bigger, bolder, what he called the Liberty Line. It looked like a scrapyard had fallen in love with the American dream. Hand-painted signs saying, "This land ain't for sale and freedom isn't measured in fines." He was grinning under his old straw hat like a man ready to go 12 rounds. Veronica showed up later that day with her goons again, smug in her SUV like she'd already won. But what she didn't know, Sheriff Miles, an old friend of Grandpa's, had been quietly gathering evidence. Texts, fake invoices, even video of her meeting Trent and exchanging a thick envelope. Oh, and the best part. That secret HOA meeting she planned to finalize Grandpa's eviction, I showed up with half the town behind me. She tried to spin the crowd, waving around paperwork and claiming she was just enforcing community values. But I pulled out the screenshots, the ones where she called Grandpa a stubborn relic and joked about clearing out the old-timers for a better zip code. Her smirk disappeared like steam on asphalt. And then came the moment. Miles stepped forward, played the recording where she bragged about manipulating HOA rules for profit. And just like that, boom, he read her rights. She tried to bolt, tripped over a hay bale, and face-planted in front of everyone. Picture-perfect justice. But the part that stuck with me as she sat cuffed in the patrol car, all puffed up and shouting about how we'd regret crossing her miles, gave a signal. And those officers she once tried to sick on Grandpa, they turned to me, snapped into a clean salute, right there in the driveway. For a second, it wasn't about fences, or power, or land. It was about respect. And damn if it didn't feel earned. The HOA got restructured. Veronica got 5 years. Trent got 3 and had to pay restitution. Grandpa. He got his farm. His fence still stands rusty, proud, and completely illegal by old HOA standards. You know, it's funny how the people who preach community are the first to betray it when money's on the line. So let me ask you, was what we did justice? Or rebellion? Drop a comment below, tell me where you stand. Was this about protecting legacy? Or just playing by the wrong rulebook? And remember, never mess with an old farmer. Especially one who raised a soldier.